So, unsurprisingly, yes, this is happening. We are, of course, covering Russell Brand. Now, this is the first time we've covered Russell Brand on this show. And I will express this now. These allegations, currently, they are allegations. And to be honest, they are quite serious allegations. And whenever stuff like this comes out, inevitably, other people see these initial people come out and go, well, actually, that also happened to me as well, and are emboldened to come out as well. So it wouldn't shock me if in the coming days, even more allegations would come out against Brand. However, we're not talking about the allegations. No, instead, we're talking, of course, what we've talked about in the past about Russell Brand, that he has become this quote unquote truth teller. And to be honest, his truth telling is so pathetic. It would be like trying to compare a five-star restaurant to a McDonald's. Yes, they both serve food, but one serves food to a higher standard than the other. And I'll tell you now, Russell Brand certainly isn't the five-star restaurant. You see, people like Russell Brand in this new, quote, media infosphere that he has tried to create love to appeal to themselves as they are the ones telling the truth, that they are the ones with that secret inside knowledge that they are prepared to tell you. But of course, that's not what happens. Brand does not go and approach people that like the traditional media would approach, the actual experts, and bring them onto the show. No, instead he continues with his brand, this new age woo that he has so built his brand around. And he's got people like the crazy Indian woman. I can't remember what her name is now, Vivek Vishwami or something like that. But her whole shtick is that, look, we need to go back to traditional farming methods, and we need to stop using things like modern fertilizers, which when the government of Sri Lanka bought into her whole ideology, there was a massive famine. That was her fault. That was her responsibility. Something that she has never taken responsibility for, something that the quote truth teller like Russell Brand will never tell you, never bring up, yet has her on his show regularly, at least a couple of times a year, because a quote, she's the truth teller against all these evil companies pushing GMO fertilizers. Yet he will never ever mention that when an actual country tried to implement her crazy ideas, after everyone saying, if you follow these ideas, not only are you not going to be able to just produce enough food for one country, you will not be able to produce enough food to feed the world. That country went into a complete and absolutely starvation, to a point where they had to reverse those policies so that farmers could once again start using fertilizers. Will Brand ever challenge her on that? Absolutely not. Not only this, Brands once again supported truth telling, extends to things like Ukraine of, oh, if we just give peace a chance, this war will be over. To which I've always said to people like this, what does this peace look like? How do you achieve this peace? How do you ensure that, Russia leaves all that territory that they've taken? And how do you ensure that Russia just doesn't do this again? Because if you leave them with that territory, what's to stop them doing this again in another 5-10 years' time and just slowly but surely just eat more and more of Ukraine and even better actual prepared assaults? These people have no idea what they're talking about, but Brand has got the personality enough to be able to convince people that he is the one who is telling you the actual truth. So it is of no surprise to me that when Brand came out on the Friday before this Dispatches special and said people that all these allegations against him were going to be coming out, he came out and said, look, there's actually something far more sinister going on. With a wink, wink, nudge, nudge to his audience. And if you look in the comments down below that video, they're all saying the same thing, defending Brand, saying that, oh, we know all these allegations are false, Russell. That's just the mainstream media out to try and get you because you're the one telling the truth. And yet, Remember this. Brand has gone actually after people like Jeffrey Epstein in the past, for doing, similar things and saying that we should believe the victims. But apparently not when it comes to his own, of course, allegations. And I do highly suspect there will probably be more in the coming at least days or weeks. And will these lead to criminal prosecutions or something else, maybe in a civil court or something like that? Who knows? It's highly possible. It's highly possible. But I say we'll see what happens. But we're not, as I said, talking about those allegations. We're more talking about the fact that Brand has tried to spin this using his almost cult of personality that he's built around his truth telling to, well, disguise the truth, or at least cover enough because, I'm the only one who tells you the real truth. Those mainstream media people have put out these allegations against me. Well, it's just all just a bit convenient, right? It's pathetic, but this is what someone like Russell Brand does, and it's why we've often in the past covered him, but we've never really covered him consistently. Because after a while, you can't say anything too much more than, okay, Russell, who are these, quote, shadowy forces? Who are these sinister types who are after you, trying to destroy you for your, quote unquote, truth telling? But it's not. Russell Brand is just, well, he's the vegan Alex Jones. He's the guy who is into his all whole wellness and goodness projects. But in reality, there is no difference between Russell Brand and Alex Jones when it comes to their truth telling. So that's the truth about about Russell Brand. As much as he quote proclaims to tell you the truth about situations in Ukraine or whatever else may be happening, it is far from the actual truth. And as to the truth about these allegations, well, as with all things, time will tell. Time will tell. But normally, when stuff like this happens to sort of celebrities, more stuff, shall we say, tends to follow. The floodgates are, shall we say, released, and more people come forward. So we'll see if that happens in the coming days, and we'll see what happens to these allegations. But hey, we'll see what happens. But for Russell's other work and for his truths, as it was once called, um, yeah, Russell Brand is an absolute coward. If Russell Brand ever had an expert in something that he was, you know, talking about, like Ukraine or any other sort of political project or science or anything like that, he will be ripped to shreds in an absolute instant. And that's why he doesn't have those experts on his show, because that's what he's trained his audience to do, to dismiss those experts who are actual experts on things like Ukraine, GMO foods, and everything else that he likes to pontificate on. But he's no more different than an average conspiracy theorist. Unfortunately, he's just has a very charismatic personality, and he's able to sort of build this, well, almost a cult-like following. I mean, if you don't believe me, go read the comments down below the video. It's very, very worrying. But of course, as always, thank you very much for watching, and of course, we'll see you all next time.